Media outlets in Myanmar say 2 anti-coup protesters have been shot dead by security police in the city of Mandalay. Many others were reportedly wounded on Saturday when the police opened fire. Mandalay is the country's second largest city. The military staged a coup in the nation on February 1st. Massive rallies against the action have been taking place across Myanmar for more than 2 weeks. Protesters occupied major roads on Saturday in the largest city, Yangon. Demonstrators also swarmed the streets in Mandalay and elsewhere in the country. A Japanese Air Self-Defense Force officer and a U.S. Air Force instructor have died after the jet they were flying in crashed in the southern U.S. state of Alabama. The ASDF says the T-38 trainer aircraft went down at about 5 p.m. local time on Friday. The T-38 had taken off from Columbus Air Force Base in the state of Mississippi on a training mission. The pilot reportedly tried to land at Montgomery Regional Airport but crashed in a wooded area. The ASDF says the staff member was a first lieutenant based at the Air Training Command headquarters at Hamamatsu Air Base in central Japan. The officer had been training with the U.S. Air Force since 2019 to become a fighter jet pilot.
The Air Self-Defense Force member's death is a matter of great regret. We'll do our utmost to ensure safety in flight navigation and prevent a recurrence of this kind of accident.
The Defense Ministry is gathering details of the crash to try and understand why the jet went down. Japanese tennis star Osaka Naomi has won the women's singles title at the Australian Open. This is her 4th Grand Slam singles title. Osaka is the number 3 ranked player in the world. She faced the American Jennifer Brady in Melbourne on Saturday. Brady is ranked number 24. Osaka broke the American serves with powerful strokes. She took the first set 6-4. In the second, she won the first 4 games and clinched the set 6-3. The star won the U.S. Open in 2018 and 2020. She also won the Australian Open in 2019. Now to the coronavirus situation in Japan, where health authorities confirmed more than 300 new infections in Tokyo on Saturday. It's the 14th day in a row that the daily tally in the capital has been below 500. 82 people are currently in serious condition. Japan rolled out its immunization program on Wednesday, initially targeting around 40,000 healthcare workers. But a possible side effect from the coronavirus vaccination has been reported in the central prefecture of Toyama. It is the first such case in Japan. The government announced on Twitter that a person had developed a rash after being vaccinated at Toyama Rosai Hospital, where inoculation started on Friday.
The most commonly used vaccine is the one for the flu, and it sometimes causes rashes. Rashes are among the most prevalent types of side effects. Although caution is necessary, the reaction is not serious.
Nakayama says a substance called polyethylene glycol, which is contained in the vaccine currently in use, is thought to trigger this side effect. He says he sees nothing particularly abnormal in the reported case. Japanese groups trying to preserve historical documents previously damaged in natural disasters have held an online meeting to share their experiences and techniques. This comes as Japan prepares to mark 10 years since the March 2011 earthquake and tsunami. About 230 people from 30 groups across the country took part in the meeting on Saturday. A group from the northern prefecture of Miyagi reported on its efforts to preserve about 100,000 items that the tsunami damaged. One of its members is a professor at Tohoku University. He spoke about a preservation method they have created. He said they washed and froze the damaged documents before putting them in a vacuum dryer. The method made it possible for them to restore the materials to their near original state. A participant from Fukushima said people were able to save many documents by cooperating with local authorities when a typhoon hit the prefecture in 2019.
Many conservation groups have been formed in the wake of past disasters across the country. We are now working together in preserving documents.
Saito Yoshiyuki added the groups will try to raise public awareness about the importance of preserving historical documents damaged by disasters. The new U.S. administration of President Joe Biden has now begun to allow asylum seekers into the country from a Mexican border town. This is part of efforts to relax the hardline immigration policies of former President Donald Trump. A group of 24 asylum seekers crossed the border into San Diego on Friday. They're now in quarantine in a local hotel. Asylum seekers, many of whom are from Central America, were once allowed to stay in the United States while their applications were processed. But the Trump administration denied them entry and sent them back across the border into Mexico. Around 500 people formed lines from early morning on Friday at an office in the Mexican border town of Tijuana. The Biden administration is now accepting applications from those who wish to enter and stay in the U.S. while waiting for their cases to be heard. Officials from an aid group say fewer than 30 families per day will be allowed in through that entry point, so most will have to stay in Mexico for the time being. The U.S. State Department has expressed concern over China's new law that authorizes its Coast Guard to fire on foreign ships in waters it considers to be under its jurisdiction. State Department spokesperson Ned Price said in a telephone conference that the law could be used to intimidate China's maritime neighbors. The spokesperson stressed the U.S. stance of cooperation with the Philippines, Vietnam, Indonesia, Japan, and other countries that have expressed concerns over the move. He said the U.S. stands firm in its respective alliance commitments with Japan and the Philippines. The law took effect on February 1st. It gives the Coast Guard the power to forcibly remove foreign ships that illegally enter Chinese waters. The Coast Guard will be allowed to use weapons if foreign ships do not comply with orders to stop or be inspected. U.S. President Joe Biden has maintained the position of the previous administration, which regarded China's maritime claims in the South China Sea as illegal. Earlier this month, the U.S. Navy conducted exercises involving 2 of its aircraft carriers in the South China Sea. Japan's para-athletes have struggled with major disruptions to their training over the course of the pandemic. Some have been unable to attend events to get the all-important classification they need for the Tokyo Paralympics. Now, sports authorities are planning to help. Sources say top sports bodies will hold a classification event for visually impaired para-athletes in March. The meet will take place in Tochigi Prefecture and feature 7 sports, including goalball, marathon, and judo. Japan reportedly has at least 21 Paralympic hopefuls who have yet to get classification in those sports. Usually, they will take part in international competitions to get a designation based on the degree and type of their impairments. But the pandemic has forced the cancellation of countless events and thrown preparations into disarray. Groups representing visually disabled competitors across Japan have been lobbying international federations and Paralympic officials for support.